With conflicts raging around the globe, we now have one more that we have to keep an eye on, and this one is between nuclear powers and is getting very little play here in the United States. We're going to start with the story that ignited it. India accuses Pakistan of cross-border terrorism after Kashmir attack. New Delhi shuts down main land border with neighbor after gunmen killed 26 people at a tourist resort on Tuesday. Now, this is dated the 23rd, and it discusses a terrorist attack against Indians at a tourist retreat in the Kashmir region, which is disputed by Pakistan and India and has been for a long time. As a result of this, India has canceled the Indus Treaty. The Indus Treaty is a treaty that regulates water usage between India and Pakistan. The water flows, you know what, I'm going to actually put this video up now, so that way you can get an idea of the region, the rivers, all that.
After the announcement that was made in India about the Indus Water Treaty being held in abeyance, Pakistan, of course, takes some time to comprehend these things, to understand these things, and the buzz on the ground in Pakistan is, ab Indus Nadi ka pani ruk jayega, that Pakistan will turn into a desert. That's not what India has said, but Pakistan is panicking. And of course, there are some in Pakistan who say, if India stops the water of the Indus River, it will be seen as an act of war. So Pakistan is also trying to now drum up some nationalism, jingoism and support for Pakistan's Army Chief General Asim Munir, seen more as an Islamist. But that's a separate debate. Joining me now on this India Today special broadcast is Ambassador Yash Sinha, India's former High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, somebody who spent a long time initially as Joint Secretary and then Additional Secretary at the Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran desk at the Ministry of External Affairs. And when Pakistan took this Indus Waters Treaty case to the Permanent Court of Arbitration, he was part of fighting back and ultimately won that case. So, Ambassador Sinha, I want to understand from you and for the benefit of our viewers, sir, what does holding the Indus Waters Treaty in abeyance actually mean? Why is Pakistan in panic?
I think what the government of India has announced is an ultimatum to Pakistan. That
as you can see on this small map, the Indus River is the larger of the blue. You can see its course goes through northern India, the Kashmir, it goes from Nepal, India, the Kashmir region, and then south into Pakistan. You can see these other rivers here, and they will become noteworthy here very shortly. We're not going to watch too much more of this, just a minute or two, and then I want to move on.
unless they switch off the faucet of terrorism, there will be a price to pay. And the Indus Water Treaty, which is the lifeline of Pakistan, 80% of the waters of the Indus water system goes to Pakistan. India was extremely generous as an upper riparian state to allocate so much water to Pakistan. But Pakistan, in return, apart from acts of terrorism, has even blocked every project that India tries to do, which is allowed, which is permissible, the run-of-river projects on the western rivers of the Indus system. And I recall that 2011, 2012, when they took the matter of the Kishan-Ganga hydroelectric project to arbitration. I happened to be the co-agent for India, and we had the redoubtable late Fali Nariman as our lead counsel, and we argued in the arbitration that what we were doing was very much within the four walls of the treaty, and that judgment that came from the court was in our favor. And yet again, Pakistan has now taken this matter, the Kishan-Ganga project, again to arbitration. And of course, they've also appointed a very bizarre situation where there's a neutral expert going into this, and a court of arbitration also examining it. So I think Pakistan plays a very obstructionist role.
Okay.
And for us, there is no real merit, no real gain in continuing this charade of adhering to the treaty.
Now, I went that long because it is relevant to some of the actions that India has taken immediately following this. One of them is this: a sudden release of water. A sudden surge in the river's water level has thrown Pakistan's occupied Kashmir into chaos as India, local authorities claimed, released water from the Uri Dam without prior warning on Saturday. And as you can see and insinuate, this creates flooding. It damages crops, homes, all of that. This story is from Reuters. Panic in Pakistan as India vows to cut off water over Kashmir. Spraying pesticides. If they stop the water, it will turn into a desert. The whole country. Chakar, 40, before heading back to the river to refill his tank for the spray gun. Pakistan is up in arms about this. And this is the official statement regarding the cancellation of this treaty. Pakistan calls India's suspension of water treaty an act of war as tensions surge. In the escalating war of words, after the terrorist attack in Kashmir that left 26 dead, Al Khan, spokesman for Pakistan's foreign ministry, said the 1960 treaty brokered by the World Bank to govern water sharing in the Indus River contains no clause allowing unilateral suspension. Water is a vital national interest of Pakistan, a lifeline for its 240 million people, Khan said at a press briefing. Any attempt to stop the water flow will be considered an act of war and responded with full force across the complete spectrum of national power. Now remember, the complete spectrum of national power when it comes to India and Pakistan is nuclear. These are nuclear-armed nations. And they are going toe-to-toe right now. And the situation got worse. This is, again, this entire conflict is getting very little play here in the West, and we need to pay a lot of attention to this. This is vital to our national security interest and the security interest of the globe. Pakistan suspends 1972 SIMLA agreement. What is it, and what will be the impact? We're just going to go down to the key points, okay? The government in Pakistan and India are resolved that the two countries put an end to the conflict and confrontation that has hitherto marred their relationships and work for the promotion of a friendly and harmonious relationship and the establishment of durable peace in the subcontinent, so that both countries may henceforth devote their resources and energies to the pressing task of advancing the welfare of their peoples, the official statement said. And the relevant point to this, being canceled, the two countries are resolved to settle their differences peacefully by means through bilateral negotiations, by other means, peaceful means mutually agreed upon between them. So this agreement is out the window, meaning that that provision is out the window. This is a big issue. They are now saying that they are putting all options on the table. They're not confining themselves to merely negotiations. This is a problem, especially between two nuclear-armed nations who have gone to war multiple times with millions of people dead. Both nations are committed to resolving disputes through bilateral negotiations without third-party mediation, a clause India has consistently highlighted in opposing international interference, especially in the Kashmir region. That is in this agreement, so that's out the window. Again, they have put all options on the table, and this is also a result of that agreement. Though not immediate, the agreement set the stage for Pakistan's eventual diplomatic recognition of Bangladesh. Bangladesh is a consistent thorn in the side of India. they are a consistent thorn in the side. We just had a story here on this channel the other day about them looking to buy J-10 Chinese fighter aircraft and Pakistani JF-17 fighter aircraft. So, as things begin to escalate, we have had border skirmishes. There has been shots fired between the two militaries on the border. Let me see if I can bring that up here real quick. Scrolling. Keep that baby scrolling. Pakistan violates ceasefire for third consecutive night. Pakistan troops violated the ceasefire agreement by resorting to unprovoked firing along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir, officials told PTI on Sunday, adding the Indian Army soldiers responded effectively. This armed the third consecutive night of such provocation. On the intervening night of April 26th, 27th, Pakistan Army Post initiated unprovoked small arms fire across the line of contact in areas that oppose opposite the Tatmari Gali, I'm sorry guys for butchering this, and Rampur sectors, the official noted. They further confirmed that Indian forces responded effectively with the appropriate small arms fire. So we have fire. There's been alterations in fighter aircraft patrol routes. The Pakistanis have put out a picture of a JF-17 armed with a Chinese air-to-air missile and beyond visual line of sight and beyond horizon air-to-air missile. Things are getting very, very tense. And it does seem that India is building a case for striking Pakistan. This is out of the New York Times. As world powers face multiple crises, the one set off by terror attack in Kashmir is getting scant attention or help in de-escalating between nuclear-armed neighbors. Again, this is getting very little attention. Very little attention. And that very little attention is also nobody stepping up to offer negotiations in a substantial way, which is leading these two countries to call for blood. Since the horrific terror attack in Kashmir last week, the Indian Prime Minister Modi has spoken on the phone with more than a dozen world leaders. Diplomats from 100 missions in India's capital have filed into the foreign ministry for briefings, officials said. But the effort is largely not about relaying help to de-escalate India's dangerous face-off with Pakistan, which it accuses of having linkages to the attack. Instead, according to four diplomatic officials aware of the discussions, New Delhi appears to be building a case for military action against its neighbor and arch-enemy. Without naming Pakistan, Mr. Modi in a speech on Thursday promised severe punishment and raising of terror safe havens. An indication of how volatile the situation remains, the security forces of the two sides have exchanged intermediate small arms fire across the border, Indian officials said on Sunday. One official said the exchange of fire happened 2 of 3 past nights, while a second official said 3 consecutive nights. In Kashmir, Indian officials have begun sweeping clamp down, arresting hundreds as they continue their hunt for terrorist predators. And these sweeps have been ongoing. In this breaking site, and everything in this will of course be linked. This is a Times of India, and it's basically as it goes. And a lot of what they've talked about are these raids going on. This one here says war with Pakistan only if inevitable. Exit deadline. Prime Minister visits terror house. Here's another big one. Indian traders to stop trade with Pakistan. This talks about an entire sector of Indian trade to stop with Pakistan. And as we scroll, Intelligence Bureau identifies 5,000 Pakistani nationals in Delhi. PM Modi says every Indian seething with anger. Get justice and predators will be punished. The entire world stands with 1.4 billion Indians, so on and so forth. And as you get more into this, like I said, you'll find, like here, House of Terrorists demolished. House of 3 more terrorists demolished. This is the Pakistan violates ceasefire. Another ceasefire violation. And this goes line by line, and keeps breaking. I'm keeping this on my feed. I'll make sure that it's in with you. But we have 2 nuclear-armed powers who are staring eyeball to eyeball right now. Neither one of them is flinching. Each one of them is accusing the other of acts of war. You have individuals, and I'll bring this up before we head out. This gentleman, Pradesh Congress President Ajay Rai, criticized Pakistan's People's Party chairman Bhutto over his statement regarding the Indus Water Treaty. Rai said that the strict action must be taken on the statements coming from Pakistan as the situation is becoming uncontrollable day by day. What happened in Pahalgam is very sad and worrying. These situations are becoming uncontrollable day by day. There needs to be a strict action on the statements coming from Pakistan today. Earlier on Friday, while addressing the gathering in Sukar, Zardari stated that just as the PPP did not approve of controversial canal project without consensus, Pakistan's will stand united and give a resounding response to Prime Minister Modi's aggression on the Indus River. Here's the fun part. The brave people of Sukar have sent a clear message by participating in the rally that we will not allow anyone to bargain over the Indus. The Modi government is unilaterally suspending the Indus Water Treaty, but I want to stand by the Indus River in Sukar and give a clear message to India that the Indus River is ours and will remain ours. Either our water will flow from this Indus or your blood. And that's where we stand. And if you're Pakistan, it's pretty simple. You can't lose rights to water. If you're India and you have control over this, tread lightly. This could spiral out of control. And if you're Pakistan, you've got a couple things on your mind. You've got millions of people you need to feed with the farmland that this river nourishes. And you got one more thing.
Each trooper will be charged with responsibility for preserving water. Our existence as an operating army depends on these following water-saving procedures. Remember, water is life.
Water is life. When you live in a desert like Pakistan and India, with desert-like regions, water is life. The cutting off of this treaty is huge. It's my hope that there's some way of negotiating short of action, because it does appear, and more than I can put in this video today, it does appear that the sides are lining up for military action. And we cover military equipment and things like that on this channel. Make love, not war, baby. Peace through strength. It's my hope that the strength of each one of these nations and the strengths of their people lead to peace. Because the fear is that it'll lead to war and millions will die. And when it comes down to nuclear powers, the danger is use it or lose it. That's all I got today. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit the like. Hope you'll subscribe and share with a friend and let them know that, hey, India seems to be building a case for striking Pakistan, and Pakistan calls India's suspension of a water treaty an act of war. And these are highly armed countries with nuclear weapons. Thank you.